Alright guys, Carlos here and welcome to this new training video. I'm super excited about this one because I'm going to talk about your 5 golden rules for on-page SEO. I'm going to talk about exactly what Google wants to see on your page, which elements are the most important for optimization in every single website, whether it be a post or a page, and really dive into what makes these 5 elements important and how exactly Google uses them to judge relevance. Keep in mind that these 5 golden rules that I'm about to show you, we have used in our mastermind group to rank in multiple cities for multiple states and multiple niches to dominate the first page positions on Google for keywords such as Los Angeles mold removal. Here's our site number 1 in the 3-pack, and here's our site number 1 in the organic section. This originally was a test website, but we have turned it into a lead gen site. Now, we also use the same 5 on-page rules to dominate for keywords like Miami SEO. Our website is here, and even though, as you can see, it has a curse word in the domain, which only proves our test to be true, that Google does accept curse words in domain names. We have used the same on-page rules that I'm about to talk about and show you to dominate these cities that may have huge competition, especially for SEO related keywords. Now let's get right into it. So if we want to talk about the top 5 on-page elements ranked by impact, what do I mean? These will be the 5 elements that you have to focus on the most, from the importance of the highest importance to lowest importance, but all 5 of them are critical. So make sure that you follow through this training down to a T, and let's get right into it. So first of all, the number 1 on-page element that you can optimize if you want to rank for a specific set of keywords or for a keyword is definitely your domain name. Now, if you already have a website that doesn't necessarily have the keyword in the domain name, or at least a partial match of the keyword in it, that's not a problem. The most important element is, of course, the domain name, but we can also include at the same position by importance is the URL. And why is that? Well, the URL basically is the hardest one to manipulate. And if you've seen my reputation management video, you know what I'm talking about, because throughout the history of search engine optimization, Google really focuses on things that are the hardest to manipulate, therefore giving the biggest amount of quote-unquote weight to these elements. Now, the second element that's the most important for on-page is, of course, the page title. Now, the third one is the H tags. That would be specifically H1s, H2s, and H3s. The fourth element by importance is the meta description. And the final one is, of course, content. But what we are going to talk about specifically when it comes to content is focusing on images, how you can optimize your images specifically so that they will be relevant for the city or the product that you're trying to rank for. But in this case, we specifically will try to focus on areas. Now, when it comes to organizing your URL structure, you have multiple options here. First of all, you need to take into consideration one thing: domain name. For instance, if your domain name is fully branded, meaning it does not have the keyword in the domain. So there are kind of 3 types of domains, right? They are fully branded domains, they are partial match domains, and there are exact match domains. Now, what do I mean? Let's say you own a roofing company and your roofing company is called let's say Pro Construction, or that would be a partial match actually, proexpertsolutions.com. See, if you have a domain that's similar or exact to this, you don't have the exact keyword that you want to rank for. Unless, of course, you want to rank for proexpertsolutions.com, which is your brand name, and of course you want to do that, but it's not the main keyword that will be the main profit driver for you. Now, partial match domains have a 50% of the key phrase that you want to rank for. So for instance, let's say you have a domain name precisionroofing.com. Well, if you want to rank for the keyword Dallas roofing contractors, you already have 1/3 of the keyword, which is roofing. That's called a partial match domain. Now, an exact match domain, let's say you want to dominate the area of Dallas, Texas. So your domain is DallasTexasRoofers.com or DallasRoofingPros.com, .net or .org, doesn't matter. Whenever you optimize your home page, you have to consider how much weight your domain has. And if it has all the keywords that you want to rank for in it, you'll have to be way less aggressive for your home page compared to if you have a domain that's fully branded, meaning it does not have any kind of keywords that you want to rank for in it. So always consider this, because the line of optimization and over optimization is incredibly thin. And guys, I'm going to repeat this multiple times in this video, but what I want you to do is don't ever keyword stuff. Meaning that if you have a domain that's, let's say it's a branded domain, it does not have any keywords in it. Let's say you create a page that you want to rank for Dallas roofers. So you say, let's say your main keyword is Dallas roofing, right? So you put in your URL structure, Dallas roofing. Then your page title is Dallas roofing, and then your meta description says we are the Dallas roofing pros in the city. If you do it like this, meaning look, you're repeating the same keyword in every single element that you have, and on top of that, if you include it in your H1s, H2 and H3 titles, you're just wishing to get on the naughty list of Google. You do not do that, because there's too much weight on this. I'm going to show you the proper way to optimize every single on-page element you have so that it will look natural, legitimate, and most importantly, it will not over optimize you. Because guys, it's better for you to be less aggressive than overly aggressive on the keywords and then get penalized, because the moment your website gets penalized, even if you kind of remove the penalty, Google doesn't look at your website the same way it did when you do not have a penalty. So it's really important that you do this the right way, that you watch this training in full, or hire an expert who knows what he's doing, so that you will minimize the risk of your site getting penalized by Google just because you stuffed the keywords too many times the wrong way. So let's talk about organizing your URL structure properly. Most of you guys will have partial match domains. Now, this also applies if you don't have a partial match domain, but let's say you have a domain called precisionroofing.com. Let's say you're a roofer. Well, now we have kind of you can go about this multiple ways. So if you have a keyword in your domain, you can create an inner page that would mention the city. So let's say you want to rank in Dallas. You can mention Dallas, Texas. Now, we're only talking about the URL structure for now, because this is crucial to understand. If you have a keyword in the domain, you will be too aggressive if you mention the same keyword again in the URL structure. So if your site is precisionroofing.com/Dallas TX roofing, you've mentioned roofing 2 times. Well, that's I'm not saying that you will get penalized over it, but even if you don't, you will be forced to be way less aggressive for your anchor text than you really have to. So it's always better to be on the same side, or on the safe side, and really use more of your link resources than to risk over optimization and then don't get ranked in the first place and have to have a new website. So if you have the keyword in the domain, you can go multiple ways. You can mention an LSI version of the keyword. And what does an LSI mean? It means latent semantic indexing. It's basically a system Google uses to track synonyms of the keyword that you want to rank for, because various groups of words are being tied into small groups that Google recognizes that they belong to the same keyword. So for instance, if you want to rank for roofing Dallas, Texas, the LSI version of this keyword would be something like roofing contractors in Dallas, Texas. If you optimize the page title or the URL title or the H tags with this keyword, Google will know that this means exactly the same as this. So it's a synonym of your main keyword. Now, if you have one main location that you want to serve and you only have one service or one main service that you want to promote, it will be easier for you to rank if you would choose to rank the homepage, meaning that you take the homepage, you don't create an inner page for the main location that you want to rank for, but you focus on ranking the homepage. So the URL structure would be precisionroofing.com, so it will only be the domain name. Now your title might be something like, we are the top rated roofers in Dallas, Texas. Now you don't mention the keyword roofing again in the page title because you already have the keyword in the domain name, or the partial match of the keyword in the domain name, the kind of the strongest location of importance in the eyes of Google. So now in the meta description you can say, looking for top rated roofing contractors in the area. Our specialists serve the area of Dallas, Texas. So as you can see, I do not stuff any single element with the exact same phrase. I do not say Dallas roofing, Dallas roofing, Dallas roofing. You have to mix it up. This is the absolute key to building the on page the natural way, exactly as Google wants. So what we said here is that we are the top rated roofers in Dallas, Texas. Now we have the keyword here, roofing. Of course, we can't create the URL because this is the homepage, and the homepage doesn't necessarily allow your URLs or the extensions of the domain to be created. Now in the meta description, we optimize top rated roofing contractors in the area. So here we mentioned top rated roofers in Dallas, Texas. Here we have roofing, and now we have switched it up saying we are the top rated roofing contractors. And even if you want to mix this up even more, you can say it, instead of top rated like we've mentioned here, you can say the best roofing contractors. Now when it comes to your H tags, your H1 should say the variation of this keyword. Once again, you always have to mix it up, but instead of just theory, we're going to jump into a real test site, and you're going to look over the shoulder how I treat on-page optimization and how exactly I think about optimizing a page for a specific set of keywords. You're going to see the entire step-by-step process, and you can do the same thing for your company or hire an expert and kind of look over his shoulder to really see how he's doing. And if you're going to listen what I'm about to tell you, I have no doubt that you will know more than 99.9% of all the SEO gurus out there, just because we have put in the time. We have ranking results of all the websites we've ranked using this method. And of course, there's always links involved. There's always citations involved, web.to properties. But this is the foundation that you're going to build for any page or any website that you will want to rank. So let's get right into it. Now, in terms of locations, if you serve one main location for one main service, you will be better off by ranking the domain name. Now, if you serve, let's say you're providing one main service but for multiple locations, then you can structure your URL structure like this. You can say your domain name, then you can create a served areas page, and then type in Dallas, Texas roofers. This will allow you to you want to structure your site from the homepage going down, so that every single page gets linked from the homepage, and the link juice gets right to the pages that you want to rank. And of course, you want to structure the pages so that your users could better navigate the site. Now, here's the deal. If you have multiple services and multiple locations that you want to rank in, let's say you're not only a roofing company, let's say you provide gutter cleaning, let's say you provide siding services, window repair, and you serve multiple cities. So let's say you serve Dallas and you serve Houston. How do you structure your website and the on page so that everything would look neat, professional, structured, and natural for Google to crawl? Here's how you do it. If you have multiple cities and you have multiple services that you want to serve, the first tier of the URL structure will consist of either the city and then the service, or you can do the opposite. You can do the service and then the actual area that you serve. This will allow for Google to kind of see, okay, he serves multiple cities, and under that city there are multiple services he serves in the exact same area. That's how Google likes to crawl sites, meaning every single layer in your URL you see here, this is the tier 1 of the URL, this is tier 2 of the URL, this is the tier 3 of the URL. Usually you do not want to go more than 3 tiers of the URL, meaning you don't necessarily have to do the following. Because the more tiers you have in the URL, the more confusing it is for Google to crawl. So if you serving multiple cities and multiple locations, always keep in mind that you should keep your URL tier structure up to 3 tiers, no more than that. Now, so this is the main explanation of how you should organize your URL structure in a nutshell. Now, let's dive into the main example and my kind of a test site, and let's examine how I would optimize this page to rank for Dallas roofing contractors. So what I did here is I've used the Google Keyword Planner to pick out the most profitable keywords and search queries people type into Dallas, Texas to find roofing services. And I ranked them by search volume. So what you have to keep in mind is this. Whenever you optimize a page for keywords, you'll have usually you'll have multiple keywords to optimize that page for. You always want to give the priority to the keywords that bring in the most traffic, the most search volume, because you don't want to necessarily put the keywords that have lower search volume first rather than the keywords that will bring you the most business, because they are typed in by a lot more people that are actively looking for your services. So how would I approach in optimizing this page? Let's get into kind of the over the shoulder portion of this training. So you can see here that you have the page title, the page URL, or the page meta description. If we know that our main keyword is Dallas Roofing, and the second keyword is Dallas Roofing Company, which is the second keyword that gets the most search volume, we will focus on optimizing the page like this. Okay. So what I did here is, you don't necessarily have to mention that you are rated A plus by the BBB, but my client is, so I'm taking his example. He's also in business for 49 years right now. So I'm taking this as an example. Whenever you're optimizing a page for your keywords, don't forget to include phrases and words that make you special. For instance, for my client specifically, he's rated A plus by the BBB, and he's also in business for 49 years. He offers a kind of multiple features and benefits of working with him. So always don't forget that optimizing a page is not just for the search engines. Of course, you want search engines to show your page higher, but you also want people to click on the page because it makes sense. So you have to make it attractive enough. Now, since this test site has the keyword already in it, which is roofing, it will not make sense for us to include that same word again, because that would be pushing it. So what we are going to do is this. Now you have to keep the page title under 60 characters because Google tends to show page titles that have up to 60 characters or less, but always try to maximize this. And by the way, this plugin is called Yoast SEO. You can get it in the WordPress plugin section. It's completely free, and you don't necessarily need it, but it just makes things a lot easier. Now, when it comes to the URL, once again, the domain and the URL are the number one element for on-page rank by importance. So we must focus on this the most. But since we have the keyword roofing already in the domain name, we can't necessarily mention it again. So what we are going to do is this. Okay, so as you can see here, we've mentioned two keywords already. So it's Dallas Roofing, which is Dallas Roofing, and Dallas Roofing Company, which is in our page title, Dallas Roofing Company. Now, when it comes to the URL, what you want to do is don't mention the same keyword or the same set of keywords again. What you need to do, you can mention the city, of course, because right here we've mentioned Dallas TX with an abbreviation for Texas. Since we've done it this time like that, we can do what we can insert in the URL is Dallas, Texas roofers. It's essentially the same thing for humans, but it's quite a different thing for the search engines, because Dallas, Texas and Dallas TX, although they are LSIs, the search engines don't view them the same way, but they know they are correlated. Now, when it comes to the meta description, it's the fourth element that's ranked by importance. So right here, we can mention all of the keywords that are don't necessarily have the biggest amounts of search volume, but are still crucial. So as you can see here, we have touched upon every single keyword we have. Here's why. When it comes to our most important keyword, which is Dallas roofing, I wish we could implement this keyword in the URL structure because it's basically the most important element for the home page, but we already have part of this keyword in the domain name. This leaves us with the option of including the area and having a variation of the keyword roofing. If we want to be super safe, we can only leave the words Dallas, Texas contractors if we want to be on the same side. Now, this is what I would recommend for you to do, but it doesn't necessarily, since we're mentioning an LSI version of the keyword, we are still on the safe side because we're not mentioning the same keyword multiple times throughout these 5 elements. So our main keyword, which is Dallas roofing, is mentioned in the title and it's also mentioned in the meta description. Don't make grammatical mistakes in these 5 elements. Always double check your work. That's important. Now, Dallas Roofing Company will also have this keyword in the page title, Dallas Roofing Company. When it comes to the keyword Dallas Roofing Contractor, we have this keyword in Roofing Contractors Dallas. So it's kind of scattered, but it's still, all you have to focus on is including all the words of your keywords, because Google is smart enough to connect that your page is all about these keywords. Now, when it comes to Best Roofing Company, what we can do here is, instead of top rated, if we want to be better optimized for the keyword Best Roofing Company in Dallas or Best Roofing Company Dallas, we can add the word best instead of top rated. This will also optimize us for this keyword because it includes the word best. Or if we want to leave the phrase top rated into the page title because we think it will increase conversions, we can leave it there and include that phrase into either the URL or the meta description. However, please do keep in mind that you should keep the URL as short, clean, and concise as possible because that's how Google likes your pages. Now, when it comes to Dallas roof repair, we've also included this into the meta description, which is roof repair. So this leaves us with a few ideas. We've mentioned the keyword Dallas Roofing Company in the page title. So we are optimized for this keyword fairly well. Now, when it comes to the Dallas roofing, we've also optimized for this keyword in the page title, which is decent. Now, when it comes to the keyword Dallas roofing contractor that gets 170 searches a month, we didn't mention the word contractor in the page title, which is the element that's ranked second by importance. And we didn't mention Dallas roofing contractor. We've mentioned roofing and Dallas, Texas, but we haven't mentioned the word contractor. So what we have to do is we will have to be more aggressive on the H1 titles because we simply didn't mention this in the page title, the URL, but we did mention this in the meta description. We've inserted the plural version of this keyword into the meta description, which is of course ranked 4th by importance, but we'll have to be more aggressive for this keyword, just a little bit to squeeze out that every single possible drop of relevance we can get. Now, if we double check all of the 3 elements we've just optimized, if we're happy with how it looks like, we can move on to the second stage, which is, of course, saving your work because you don't want to lose this. Now we will move into optimizing the H1, H2, and H3 titles, which are the 3rd element that are ranked by importance. Now, what I have here is some dummy text. but you will have original, decently written content that talks about a company, talks about your service. And people always ask me, Carlos, how much content is enough? How much content do I need to get to rank well? The answer to that is there was always this rule of thumb that you have to have 300 words of content. That content for local SEO doesn't matter, but it matters for global SEO, that you have to have over 500 words of content. The reality is this. Look at what's winning right now, meaning type in your most important valuable keyword into Google and take the average of your top 3 competitors. See how much content they have on the page that ranks. Get the average of the word count and write the same amount of words or even more. Go more than that. And now you will know that you will have an acceptable amount of content that Google wants to see on your page to rank on the first organic position and in the 3-pack. Now, all we have left is, of course, the H tags and the content. These two important elements that are ranked. Of course, the H3 tags are more important than the meta description, but the content is less important than the H tags, the domain name, the URL, but it's still crucial to utilize. So what we're going to do is this. We know that we've optimized for these keywords fairly well, but we've included these keywords in the meta description and we do not include some of them in the URL and the page title. So what we're going to do is really do good diligence on optimizing them for the H titles. So first of all, H1. What is an H1, H2, and H3 titles, and how do you set them? Well, think of H1, H2, and H3 titles as the titles of every single paragraph that you will have on the page that you will rank or on your homepage. So for instance, this one would be an H1 title. Right now it's set to H2, but we're going to make it H1. This will be the H2 and this will be the H3. Now, people also ask, can I have multiple H1, H2, or H3 titles? The industry standard best practice is to always have one H1, one H2, and one H3 title for the page that you're trying to rank. Why? Because Google, if you have multiple H1 titles, it kind of confuses Google in the wrong way. Now, when it comes to H4, H5, and H6 titles, you can have multiple of them as long as you don't go overboard. If you want to have multiple paragraphs, let's say you're promoting a huge service or a huge product that requires a lot of content, best thing to do is to have one H1, one H2, and one H3 title, and then have all the other paragraph titles as text that has a big font. That would be the best solution in terms of the perspective of the search engines. Okay, so let's continue optimizing the H titles. We know that we have done a good job on these keywords, but we still have Dallas roofing contractor, Dallas roof repair, best roofing company Dallas, best roofing company Dallas, and commercial roofing Dallas keywords left. So what we are going to do, of course, we're going to rank them by importance and focus on the most important ones that will bring us the most traffic, the most eyes to our service. So we have the keyword Dallas roofing contractor. What we can do now, this really depends on your content, but I'm going to structure my H1s according to the keywords I have and according to the content I might write. So as you can see here, what I'm doing is I'm trying to optimize for all of the keywords in a natural way that makes sense for the search engines, but it's not too aggressive. It's all about finding out what elements have the biggest impact and achieving that balance of looking natural but still optimized. So continue to watch over my shoulder as I do this. Alright guys, so I had to pause the video because I got really immersed into this on page because I really wanted to show you guys a great example of how a well optimized page looks like. So here's what I did. When it comes to the page title, I've chosen to have Best Dallas, Texas Roofing Company for 49 years. Of course, the features don't matter. It's all about making the features that are unique to you visible. Now, why did I do that? Why did I choose this specific keyword? Well, because Dallas Roofing Company, which I removed from here, had the biggest search volume out there. You don't just stuff your 5 on-page elements with keywords randomly. You have to pick a strategic way of focusing on the most important keywords that have the biggest search volume, clearly display on the most important elements on the on page so that you will have the best possible chance of ranking for them because you've placed them in the right way in a strategic manner that will be liked by Google. Now, when it comes to the second keyword, which is Dallas Roofing Contractor, I chose to put this keyword in the H1 tag because, of course, H tags are the third element that's ranked by importance once again, and also because I did not mention the word contractor in the URL and the page title, so I've specifically included it into the H1 title. Now, when it comes to the keyword commercial roofing Dallas, or let's go spot by spot here. So Dallas roof repair. I've included the keyword Dallas roof repair into the H2, and this was because I did not really had the opportunity to mention it in the page title. And of course, it's a keyword that gets way less search volume than the other keywords which we've focused on first. So I've included it into the H2 of the page. Now, when it comes to the keyword Best Roofing Company, it's already included in here, Best Dallas Roofing Company. So Best Roofing Company Dallas, that's Best Roofing Company Dallas. Now, the keyword Commercial Roofing Dallas, which is located here, I've decided to include it in the H2 by naming the H2 title of the second paragraph, Commercial and Residential Dallas TX Roof Repair Experts. I did not mention contractors. I did not mention company because we already have those keywords here, here, and here. So it would be a little bit too aggressive. So I chose to use the words experts. Now, when it comes to the keyword Dallas Roofing and Dallas Roofing Company, of course, these are the most important keywords that get the most search volume. They are included in the most important elements, which is, of course, in this situation, is the page title and the domain, because once again, a partial version of the keyword is already in the domain, so I do not want to go too aggressive. It's better to stay on the safe side rather than risk over optimization, because once again, the line of over optimization and safe optimization can be very, very fine. So watch out for that. Do not keyword stuff and do this the right way, exactly as I'm showing you, and you will be just fine, and you will be optimized really well, and you will be ready to build links that will dethrone your competitors. Now, so if you want to really take a look whether you've optimized your page really well for all of these keywords, you should in theory see every single variation of this keyword listed on your page in the most important elements, not in the content, not in the paragraph content, but in the top 5 elements we've talked about, which is the domain or the URL, the page title, the H tags, the meta description, and of course the content. But more specifically, we're going to talk about the last part in just a bit. So when it comes to the keyword Dallas Roofing Contractor, we have it here, Dallas Roofing Contractor. When it comes to Dallas Roof Repair, we have it here, Dallas Roof Repair. When it comes to the keyword Best Roofing Company in Dallas, we have it here, Best Dallas Roofing Company. It's a synonym to this keyword. Now, when it comes to the Commercial Roofing Dallas keyword, that gets 70 searches a month, which is not the most important keyword, but it still should be included. This specific phrase is in the H2, which is Commercial Dallas and of course we have the variation roof, but we know that we have this word mentioned in the domain name, in the page title, and in the meta description. Now you might say that, okay, Carlos, this keyword or this word is mentioned 3 times in all 5 elements. Well, roofing is quite a general word. It's not necessarily a chain of words such as commercial roofing Dallas or Dallas roofing contractor. If this kind of a longer tail version of the keyword would be mentioned 3 times in the exact way, shape, or form in all 5 on-page elements, that would be really pushing it. But if it's one word that's quite general, you won't be able to come up with a lot of variations that would replace that word. You can, but it's not a huge deal as long as it's one general word, which it is. Now, let's dive into the last element that I want to talk about that most SEO companies really tend to ignore. Now, once again, if you implement all these 5 steps, and especially the last step of the last element that you need to optimize, I'm very confident that you will know more than 99.9% of all SEO gurus out there, and you will be able to optimize any page with confidence, regardless if you're a business owner or if you are supervising a marketing team or if you simply hired an SEO guy, but you're still not sure if he's doing a good job. You will be able to tell if he's doing a good job by watching this video in a second. My goal with this video is to make you an absolute ninja, and although I want to make this as simple and not waste your time, I want to get into as much detail as possible so that you could have the confidence you need to really know search engine optimization when it comes to the on-page portion of it specifically. So let's dive into the last and final element. Geotagging your images. This is the most underrated part of any on-page SEO campaign ever. And what I mean by that is this. Right now, Google is not smart enough to see what images mean. When it develops its AI to the point where the robot or the algorithm can see the pixels and put together a picture to see what that image shows, then we will talk in a different way. But right now, the way Google finds out what an image is about is by really 3 things. It looks at its alt tag, which is the description of the image. It looks at the image file's file name, and thirdly, it looks at its details and its coordinates. If you're a service-based business that's providing services in one or multiple areas, geotagging your images for the location that you want to serve will be like your main ninja weapon for SEO that you can have, because I'm very confident that your competitors do not know about this, they're not doing it, they're not aware of it. If you know this and implement this, you will have an upper hand and you will have one more reason or one more advantage to outrank them and return all the calls, and that is what you deserve. So let's get right into it. We usually use a paid tool in our community, but since it's a paid tool, I'm going to provide you with an alternative that does the same thing on a more basic level, but it still works. The tool is called tool.geoimgr.com. What this tool basically does is it geotags your images. So here's what you need to do, whether it will be work examples or background images or 5-star review images or images of customer testimonials. These are all images, and they can be used to gain an advantage for SEO. And here's exactly how we do it. So you go to this tool, and what you need to do is find the images on your ranking page that you want to include and that you want to optimize. You drop the photos here. Now what you do, you need to find the longitude and latitude of your business. So what you do is this: you go to Google Maps and you find your business name. That can be done by typing in it in here. In this instance, I'm going to use the business name of a company that I know. And once you're in the Google My Business profile, here's exactly what you do. If you look at the URL structure right here, you see maps, place, your business name, and here are the coordinates that you need right here. What you do is you copy these coordinates and you typed it into latitude. So this portion is the latitude and this portion is the longitude. You copy these two numbers right here, and then the map will set in the location of your business. Now, in order to double check if the location is true, you can simply scroll down. Now, for my client, I know that his business is Mount Vernon Road, so that means that the coordinates have been typed in successfully. Now, what you will do is click the button right, EXIF tags. The photo has been tagged. You download the photo, and then you simply add the photo into the page that you want to have. So we're going to do that right now. So right now your image has been geotagged for the location that you want to rank in. And this is super powerful because not only is your page title optimized for the location, your URL is optimized for the location, your meta description, your H tags, but now your images are also relevant for the city or the area that you want to serve. In this specific instance, we're focusing on location, so that's why we're typing in the coordinates. Now, you can go an extra step and optimize this image even further. You can add alternative text. Now, once again, I said that I'm going to repeat this once again, and I'm going to do it right now. Do not keyword stuff your own page. Let me repeat that again just to be crystal clear. When you add your images that are geotagged, you do not keyword stuff alternative text. You do not keyword stuff the file name. You insert the LSI versions of the keyword in a natural way, just like we did with all the 4 on-page elements up to this point. So what you can do here is to optimize this image for the keyword that you want to rank for. You can simply add a very long tail version of the keyword. For instance, if this is a photo of your work results, you can say something like a photo of our most recent roofing job near Dallas. That's it. So it's a long tail version of the keyword. We don't just copy and paste the actual keywords we want to rank for, but we add the LSI versions of them into the alternative text portion. We click update. Now, one extra step that we can do is actually insert an image title. One thing that I want you to know about this is that this will only accept JPG images, so do not upload PNG images because it will simply not let you. So only use JPEG images. If we want to go further than this, we can open up the text portion of the page we're trying to optimize, and what we can do is see, this is the alternative text of the image that we've just optimized. If we want to include and optimize the image even more, instead of just working on the alternative text, we can also include the title. Now, this has to be done if you're on WordPress, which is a CMS for most sites. You can do the following line of code. You can type in title equals the brackets or the quotation marks, apologies, and you can once again type in an LSI version of the keyword. We can do something as such. Now, the way you know that the image title has been typed in correctly, when you hover over the image, you will see that a text pops up showing what you typed in. Now, once all of the on-page elements have finished, we hit publish. And we're going to do one final check for the entire page. Here it is. Now, we have our page title, our URL, and our meta description. We can see the exact same thing here. If you hover over the tab, you will see the actual page title we have included using the Yoast SEO plugin. Our URL contains the exact keywords we've optimized the page for, and of course these are our H1 tags. Now, when it comes to the original title of the page, some WordPress themes will have the generic page titles coded as H1 tags. Now, obviously, we have already set one H1 tag. So the problem is that we have two H1 tags right now. So what we have to do is this. Since this is our original H1 tag, but this is our original page title from the theme, we copy the H1 text from here and delete the H tag, because this H tag is now here because the theme has coded it as our H1 tag. We hit save. We refresh the page. Here we go. So the way you can check whether you set all your H1 titles correctly, you can highlight the bolded text, hit the right mouse button, click inspect, and in the source code you will see that this says that this specific portion of the text is an H1 right here. Now to check your H2s, you can see it here. Once again, you do the same thing. This is an H2. This is an H3. We can see right here. H3, H3. Now, if we want to go even deeper, we can access the page source and check if our page title has been set the way we want it. So don't get intimidated by this code, but all you have to do, if you're on Windows, you press Control F and you type in the word title, and you will see that your title that you set is exactly the same how you set it in the Yoast plugin settings. And once you've double checked all of these elements and made sure that they have been established correctly, the last thing that you want to do is of course check the page title, and of course it's showing up. Now when it comes to double checking the final thing, which is whether your images have been tagged and coordinated correctly. So the image that you've downloaded from here, you will have downloaded it. If you open up the image, you will see when you click on file info, if it has been geotagged correctly, you will see the actual location of your business, and you will see your actual street address, and basically that means that you've geotagged that image for your city the correct way, exactly as I showed you. Now, a few things about the image geotagging process. Keep in mind that the same moment you geotag your images, you will not be able to compress them or resize them or edit them in any way, shape, or form. Why? Because altering the image will delete the geo coordinates of that image, and you will have to do it all over again. So if you have someone that is working on your page speed or image compression, reminding him to do it beforehand, before you geotag your images. Compress, edit, and use Photoshop on the images before and geotag them later to save yourself time, because you will have to do it again. And basically this is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. So keep this in mind. Whenever the 5 golden rules for on page are as follows. First, it's your domain name or the URL. If you can pick a domain name that has at least some form of the keywords or the city that you're doing business in, if the city is related to the keyword that you want to rank for, you will require way less resources and way less links to rank number 1. Now, before you go and delete your domain, keep in mind that you don't have to have the keyword in your domain. All it means is that you will require more resources to get the website ranked than your competitors if they have some form of the keyword in their domain already. So don't panic, you don't need to change your domain name. All you will have to do is invest a little bit more resources to outrank your competitors who have the keyword in the domain name. Now, so it's either the domain name or the URL. Now, if you serve one main city and you have one main service, it would be the best to focus on ranking and optimizing your homepage, because the homepage is always the main center of power. It's the place where most of your links will get sent to. So of course, logically speaking, you will require less resources to rank. For instance, my client, who is a roofing company in Cedar Rapids, he ranks for the keyword Cedar Rapids roofing contractors, and what I chose for him. So he ranks organically in the organic listings, and he ranks organically in the 3-pack. Now, as you can see, he does not have a URL extension like some of the other guys do, right? But this is because Cedar Rapids, Iowa is his main location and roofing is his main location, or the main service he provides. But if you're not in the same context as he is, it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't need to focus on the whole page. You can do that, but it might make more sense for you to create specific inner pages for each location and each city, and then rank those inner pages so that the home page would power up the inner pages. Now, so in that case, you focus on the URL. The URL will be the most critical element that you will have in terms of on-page SEO importance. Now, secondly, remember the second one is the page title. The third one is H1, H2, and H3 tags, and the fourth one is the meta description, and the fifth one is content. But more specifically, in this training we focus on images. So we specifically focus on image geotagging. Now, just as a recap, you can edit all of these on-page elements with a plugin called Yoast SEO, which is a free plugin if you're using a CMS like Wordpress. And this is the page title, this is the URL, and this is the meta description. And of course, these are the H tags, and you set them by using this function in WordPress if you're using WordPress. Now, the way you set the title of the image is you enter the code, you find the image, which you can do by typing in the command JPG, and you insert the following before the code called SRC equals, and the code you type in is title equals quotation marks, the actual content you want to insert, and then quotation marks. This will allow a page title to happen. Now, the way you optimize the alternative text is by going to image details and then by finding the alternative text portion in here. And once again, this has been Carlos. I hope so basically, as you can see, the on-page portion of SEO is a painstaking process that really you have to master before you execute it, unless you want to get your page or website penalized, which we of course don't want. So if you will decide to optimize your website as a business owner yourself, watch this training more than once. I highly recommend it. If you're going to hire an expert to do this, now you know exactly what he needs to do to make this work the best way and what are the industry standard best practices for on-page optimization. And this is not backed up by just theory. This is backed up by pure data and rankings. And I've achieved these rankings for my client with the same steps I use. Now, backlinks, citations, Web 2.0 properties, of course, that plays a huge part, but on-page SEO is the main foundation you need to build first. And once again, for the last time, I'm going to repeat this again. Do not keyword stuff your page with the exact keywords over and over and over again. Remember, LSIs always mention synonyms of the keywords. You reduce the quote-unquote weight that Google puts on your website, but still make sure that the keywords that will bring you the most business are displayed in the 5 elements we talked about in this training. Thank you so much for watching this video and have a great day. Thank you.